Ladies and gentlemen, we are now gathered to induct the newest members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And we're also gathered to induct officially our first tag team into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. I can assure you, as your master of ceremonies, the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, and your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters, the Reverend Tom Bryce. This speech is going to be a real one. So definitely stand back, get the popcorn ready, and enjoy. But, ladies and gentlemen, when I think about our newest members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, although one of them is actually in the Hall of Fame and holds the honor of being inducted into two Hall of Fames in one day, he actually might have just had one of his greatest accomplishments just yet, because just over 36 hours ago, he became a father once again, and I could not think of a better way than to induct him once again into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame after he just had his brand new daughter, Esther Jane. And when I think about Esther Jane, certainly the apple of his eyes, I also think about my home community of Brooklyn, New York, where there's probably quite a number of Esthers that are born somewhere, or quite a number of Esthers that I've probably encountered somewhere, which is why it's an honor to have this man here. After all, he's probably gotten out of daddy duties just for this one here. But when I think about the journey, though, of our newest members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame and our first tag team, it certainly isn't about the journey. It's kind of, in a way, how they got there. Because if you followed their careers, especially in the backyard, the underground, or semi-pro wrestling, whatever you want to call it at this point. I mean, I could say all wrestling, which matters here on Sports by Radio. These guys have definitely had their ups and their downs. And especially for a company called XCW, Explosive Championship Wrestling. And you might even want to say with the owner of that company, Joshua Fletcher, they've kind of had, more or less, an explosive history with him. But these days, they're actually on the same fence. We'll talk about that. But also, they're deserving to be the first tag team in our Hall of Fame officially because of what they just did recently in the past year when it came to XCW. As they wound up with their tag team run as champions ending just a few short weeks ago to kick the season off, they wound up becoming one of the most all-time tag teams in total days that they held those championships. In fact, they became so successful, they had the second longest run for any team that has held those XCW tag team championships. And the who's who of people that they've defeated, the likes of the Foundation, Omen Black, and Soldier GP. It is, after all, Omen Black's show, and I might even talk about a company that I actually co-own with Soldier GP and Omen Black, and maybe I'll have to ask the guys even if what their future might be if they want to be in that company, but that's a different conversation for a different time. But the who's who of people that they've defeated: Unholy, which is sadly no longer an XCW, Tommy the Man Merriman, and Brady Branson. After all, Tommy the Man Merriman, who has 4 consecutive wins on XCW TV, and I mean, it's a who's who of tag teams. I mean, where can we even go further? I mean, listen, Julian Void Jacobs and Mitchell Maverick. I mean, are they still trying to be in EBW? Actually, no. I'll scratch that because it doesn't seem like they can be accepted in EBW now. We could go on and on and on about their tag team run as champions that just ended, which is why, in many ways, they're here in our Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. But also, they're here in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame really for what they've done in the word preservation. When I think about their journey, preservation is the word that comes to mind most because they earned their way into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. We've spoke with our newest members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame many times here over the past 9 months. 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, these guys probably would have been on a milk carton rather in 2 and 3 Hall of Fames. But they didn't give up. And in many ways, they're here in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame because of one man that we inducted on Wednesday's show in the late, great Benji, Kurt Acid. And Kurt Acid was one of the biggest supporters of these two individuals. And in many ways, they're Sportswire Radio Hall of Famers, once again in the case of Justin Parsley, because of the late, great Kurt Acid, but also because these individuals, to the testament of their preservation, never gave up and didn't close the door on coming back to the ring and coming back to a company in XCW where, like many people, have had their ups and downs with. But the facts are is that you never give up, you never say never, and that's why not only they're here, they had one of the greatest runs that any XCW tag team has had. And that's saying a lot because, as we know, ladies and gentlemen, XCW is now officially in their 21st season. As I always say here on Sportswire Radio, endorsements are earned and not given. And I truly believe not only did our newest members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame earn their way, not only into our Hall of Fame, and in Mr. Parsley's case, the second time into our Hall of Fame. By the way, actually matching Omen Black, who's the first two-time Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer. And the irony now of Mr. Parsley being the second two-time Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer. And after all, Mr. Parsley holds a victory over Mr. Black. I mean, certainly, if you didn't put it that way, ladies and gentlemen, but I did kind of think of the irony here and the fact that Justin Parsley and Omen Black are both two-time Sportswire Radio Hall of Famers. But it's really, again, a testament to their characters that they didn't give up. And the word endorsements are earned, not given, because these guys earned their way into the Hall of Fame. These guys earned their way into being a tag team that, if you would have thought about it, even at this point, ladies and gentlemen, last year, would you have said Rob Slater and Justin Parsley, the real ones, would let alone be multiple-time Hall of Famers, but tag team champions? Your answer would probably be no. Or your other answer would probably be, can you pass the bong over? But I actually don't smoke on Sportswire Radio. I might be as straight edge as CM Punk. Maybe just a little less controversial. I'd maybe save that for another Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer who actually was once upon a time a champion in XCW. The real deal, Anthony Steele. But I'll certainly not compete there with that. But certainly stay tuned in a few days from now on Sportswire Radio, I'm sure. But there's no question, ladies and gentlemen, what these guys have done in the ring, inside the ring, definitely proves them to be Hall of Famers. But I also think their characters outside the ring. Because I always say, many times here on Sportswire Radio, we've been very blessed to have an amazing class of Hall of Famers. Like Omen Black and Soldier GP, want to make sure that we recognize them. They are here. Dirty Donnie, Mr. 100, they're also in the chat. Want to make sure that we acknowledge the guys. And yes, they're in the Hall of Fame. But we have a great class. But I also think that what stood out with the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame versus even the XCW Hall of Fame or any Hall of Fame, as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, is that the character of our Hall of Famers, in my opinion, beats any Hall of Fame out there. It doesn't matter in what Hall of Fame, for what type, where, when, how. The Hall of Famers in Sportswire Radio lore, to me, are the best to ever do it. And ladies and gentlemen, the Essential One, Rob Slater and Justin Parsley, may not be the greatest ring technicians, but they're one of the greatest Hall of Famers. And I couldn't think of a better team to be the official first tag team in Sportswire Radio's history. And also more ironies for Justin Parsley because he was the first person from XCW to be inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And here he goes again. Not only is he a new proud papa with child number 3, he's also now for the second time a first in XCW lore for Hall of Famers. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to make Justin Parsley a 3-time Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer. But let's not make his head even bigger than what it is. Because after all, he is from Mulholland Drive. And after all, I mean, I know a thing or two about Mulholland Drive. After all, one of my friends out there is the famous Beverly Hills surgeon, Mr. Jay Calvert. So I will certainly say hello to Mr. Calvert, but I'll certainly say not goodbye to Mr. Parsley, but certainly say in a few minutes here, congratulations to you guys in being in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. But as I like to sum up my speech here, before we get to the famous introduction and talk about some current things, as I like to always say here, I can go on and on and on about Justin Parsley and Rob Slater. And I know over the next hour, I definitely will. And there is, after all, a lot to talk about between the outliers, the real ones, and EBW, and James Cerebral, and Brady Branson, and I don't know, whatever else, and maybe even some outside wrestling companies, and one that yours truly does own a portion of, and maybe even another company in another state in the Midwest. But I'll certainly leave all of that. But I want to officially now congratulate our first tag team into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. In the case of Rob Slater, our second member of our 7th class, ironically right behind Mr. 100 Dirty Donnie. So there we go again, ladies and gentlemen. The foundation, the real ones, always seeming to share a class, seeming to share a spot in Sportswire Radio lore. When I'm dead in the grave, hopefully in 50, 60 years from now, I'll forever have that tattooed on my forehead. The real ones and the foundation. After all, the foundation are part of one of the most successful episodes in Encounter's history. But we'll certainly save all the lingo there. And the guys certainly saved that for a little while from now. But it's time to officially congratulate you guys as our first tag team into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And, as everybody else has gotten, and Justin, you've gotten it before. Fletch has gotten it. Of course, our dear friend, God rest his soul, Kurt Acid has gotten it. Trinity has gotten it. Chris Jones has gotten it. I know you guys have a lot to say about that. And a who's who of other people. Jackson Law. By the way, is he EBW or not EBW? I mean, boy, he's got everybody after him. I don't even want to go there about Jackson Law, but I want to give you guys that introduction that everybody's waiting for. As a matter of fact, I wasn't even thinking about the Eclipse today. I wasn't thinking about Cody and The Rock and what Cody got from The Rock. I wasn't thinking about Paul Levesque and the new era term. I was thinking about how I'm going to give an introduction to the essential one, Rob Slater and Justin Parsley. So you're waiting for it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm waiting for it. They're waiting for it. So let's give them an introduction that the world is waiting for. And, well, I've spoke too much tonight, so let's get right to it. So with that, wait for it. What do I do here on the Sports Report? Sports Show, the first tag team to officially be inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. They are the real ones, the essential one, Slayer, and from Mulholland Drive, now officially the second two-time Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer, three-time Hall of Famer. He is the first real wrestler, and child number 3 is under his wings right now, sleeping nicely in bed with Amanda. His name is Justin Wesley. Guys, congratulations. You're the first tag team officially inducted into the Sports Radio Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor, man. Every single time it's been an honor, whether it's Benji, us, like everything you do, we appreciate.
Well, first of all, I got to ask, we're going to certainly get to a lot of XCW, EBW talk, say hello to a lot of people out in the world. Justin Parsley, when was the last time you slept?
I'm just like, I'm getting what I can when I can right now. This coffee is keeping me going for the moment, but like my body, my body kind of wants to shut down, but my mind just can't. Like that's just.
Well, you can't shut down now because you got the You got many of your colleagues watching this.
There are so many reasons I can't shut down right now. You're right.
Oh, now especially because you know Soldier's out there. You know that Omen's out there. You know that many people in the XCW locker room are out there. But we did want to wish you, obviously, congratulations. And Esther Jane, what a beautiful name. I think it reminds me so much of, my friendly confines in my home turf in Brooklyn, that there's so many people I know out there that are named Esther Jane. So maybe it's got a Jewish name to it. So maybe you're going to be moving to the neighborhoods of Brooklyn. But different conversation.
Not about
anyway. Uncle Heshy, yes, I spoke to Uncle Heshy. He's doing well. I will certainly pass that along to Uncle Heshy. But obviously, guys, I want to ask you the question that I always ask everybody. Plus, I have something I'm going to present to you guys. After all, I always come with gifts. But what does it mean to you guys now officially to be the first tag team inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame?
I mean, it's an honor, really. You think of all the great tag teams out there, and the real ones are the first. I mean, it just perfectly.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. I mean, I feel like maybe this is a team that wasn't even really supposed to happen on paper.
I said it a year ago. You guys, I would have probably had the bong if I would have said you guys would be in multiple Hall of Fames and tag team champions. And here we are today. I would have said, are you nuts? Well, I might be nuts anyway, but, that's a different conversation for a different time.
I feel like Rob and I have always just had this magical chemistry that's just always worked out, and Fletch took a chance on it, and we got the ball rolling, and it just didn't stop. It just snowballed into what it became, and it was great. It was an honor doing it with Rob. Rob's one of my best friends, like, for life, right? And it couldn't have, absolutely. It couldn't have been a cooler experience, and we did it for Benji, so that on top of it's just icing on the cake. It's
really been an emotional week, especially for you guys. Obviously, Justin, you just had your newborn daughter, and obviously, God bless it. Amanda. Obviously, we want to wish your better half. I might want to say, certainly well, and obviously, we hope that she's doing well. But what a week for you guys. It's Benji's birthday this past Wednesday. We inducted him into the Hall of Fame, and you guys are here, and obviously, we're going to get to the world of XCW and EBW in a second. But this has kind of been, I would say, an emotional roller coaster for both of you guys over the last week. No.
Yeah, it's just been nonstop. I feel like life has not slowed down. If anything, it feels like everything is sped up at times. And I know everything's moving the same speed, but it just feels like time is a variable. And I can very much sense how the slight adjustment of the sped up time that we're living in, I can feel it in everything that has been going on. It's just been insane, dude. It's just, I can't even wrap my brain around it. One thing after another.
Would you like to say anything, Rob, on that? I mean, it's been a crazy week here in Sportswire with you guys.
Yeah, like you said, time it flies by in the blink of an eye, and I mean sooner than later it's going to catch up to us.
I know it's crazy, right? I mean, I feel like it was just yesterday we started talking about XCW, and here we are all these months later. Let me ask you guys a question, and I'm going to certainly talk a lot about the current events. We're going to get into a lot of stuff with a lot of people. I want to say hello to everybody, but I kind of felt like in a lot of ways, summing up you guys being here, it's the word preservation and, persevering. And, you guys have kind of done that. It's certainly, I would say, a different journey than Chris Jones getting into a Hall of Fame, or, Fletch getting into a Hall of Fame, or even a Jackson Law, who's kind of been, before he came to XCW, kind of like and we said it with all due respect, like a Jack Delta, a guy that was a traveling man and, certainly made his name in XCW. But you guys have such a different path, I think, than, anybody, because of just, the circumstances. Do you guys feel like in a lot of ways you've persevered to kind of get to where you are right now?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been blessing after blessing, but I think it's taken a lot of perseverance to come out of retirement or semi-retirement or whatever after as long
Nobody
as we
really
did.
retires in wrestling anymore. Let's be honest. Even The Undertaker, if you watched Mania yesterday, they're talking about him again. So, I mean, you can never say no.
That's true. Yeah. So I guess just to be able to connect with fans that were there at that point, not just kids hanging out in the backyard and stuff like that, or just not the other talent, but being able to connect with fans, it's just been a totally different experience. And I think that's been why we've been so successful, is we have those new additions to compared to what we used to have. And it's so cool to be able to come back after all this time and just somehow be relevant or even considered good by people like you and the people who vote for us to be in the Hall of Fame of XCW.
Well, I mean, I would certainly like to say that I might have had a hand in you guys getting into the XCW Hall of Fame. I certainly can't speak for anybody, but here on this platform, I mean, I have a vote, and my vote means just as much as anybody's vote in the world. But
We appreciate your endorsement. Yeah, we
well,
definitely
I'm
appreciated
glad
that.
somebody does in the company, but certainly I'll leave that for a different conversation for a different time. No, we're only kidding. We love everybody in XCW. The XCW, the locker room has been. I couldn't ask for a better locker room in terms of just the overall amount of people. I mean, there's companies that have been great with us, but you guys have so many people in the locker room. So if I don't say the whole locker room has been great, which it actually has, I can't say enough good things about the locker room in the company. But let me ask you guys this question, and in a kind of way, it sums up you guys into the Hall of Fame. I will get to comments. A lot of people I don't want to say hi and such, but when you think about what you guys just did, having the second longest run of any tag team in XCW history, did you guys know that over time? I never really asked you guys this question again, because I've had you guys on a bunch of times. I think it's been like 4 or 5 times you guys have been on here at this point. I mean, maybe Justin, you've been on here maybe about that, maybe Rob 1 or 2 times less, but did you guys know that this was kind of really a special run you guys run with those tag belts?
I mean, in the beginning, we had a goal set, and we weren't gonna stop, until we accomplished that goal. As time just came on, we kept winning and winning and winning. Like Justin said earlier, our chemistry together was undeniable. So over time, we kind of felt that sense that, hey, this is something magical we're doing. Let's keep going. And I mean, there was times where we discussed, hey, every good thing has to come to an end sometime, but it's not going to be today. And that was our motto. It's not going to be today. Well, eventually, time caught up to us. But
time caught up. Look at how long you guys were champions. If I'm not mistaken, I mean, we're talking about over 6 months as tag team champions. I mean, in this day and age in wrestling, that's a really hard thing to do. It doesn't matter. We saw what Judgment Day did with the tag belts, and they were champions a long time. We've seen, what many companies have. Not too many teams can be champions as long as what you guys did. It was a real one with you guys being tag team champions. You guys literally nearly eclipsed the records, and you in the record books eclipsed almost every team. You like the eclipse reference, the real ones. I mean, I'm trying to work on my stand-up comedy. Running joke is, guys, because I'm doing such a bad job these days on Sportswire that I'm sure stand-up comedy will work, because after all, I'm sure a lot of wrestlers want to take the hook and pull me off the stage. So I'm thinking maybe that I could use that time to prepare here for my bad things, with the jokes working on the air, that stand-up comedy could be coming to a place near you. That's all.
We look forward to it.
I look forward to it too.
I didn't think that the run would be like it was. I didn't think we'd even be tag team champions. I thought, once
it was kind of unlikely. I mean, Rob was having problems with Unholy, and you came out, and the rest is history. And you guys just had an amazing run. Whether it was Unholy, Julian Boyd Jacobs, Mitchell Maverick, certainly Merriman and Branson, and yes, the Foundation. I mean, it was team after team. You guys were running through everybody. It was even acknowledged on XCW TV of late. You guys, had one of the most special runs, and it led you guys into the Hall of Fame in Viewer's Choice, and certainly here now on Sportswire Radio, our first tag team officially into the Hall of Fame.
And where we're at now could just be a speed bump, because, I think, with all due respect, I don't want to speak for Rob, but I think that if given the opportunity and the right rematch, I think that we would go after those tag titles again and try to redo it.
I mean, if you watch the match, I mean, we had it won right at the beginning, right? Right at the beginning, we had it won until Chris Jones had to.
It's all about Chris Jones. Really,
it's all
this
about
time.
Chris. Like, we had it won.
It's almost like time hasn't changed anything from 20 years ago, right? You guys are still having problems with Chris Jones, and you're in the ring with Fletch. What else has changed? James Cerebral still patting around EBW. I mean, it's almost as if like everything stays the same. Nothing changes in time. It's almost like you would think that like people would evolve, or maybe more or less like people would kind of get over the past, but the past hasn't changed anything, I suppose.
No, people are, like you said, people are just too busy staying in the past because they don't want to evolve. They don't want to go into the future. They want to.
James Cerebral is going to be like 85 and still wearing the EVW shirt. James Cerebral.
It's not us. We evolve. we go with the future and the present. We don't stay behind in the past. Getting stuck in the past.
That's real talk there. That's real essential talk, by the way. Real essential talk.
I mean,
Let me get to
our run was magical, as you can see.
it. Was listen, I tell you,
we
no,
evolved.
legitimately. I want to say this. I mean, I've covered a lot of tag teams throughout my career. It was, right up there. I'm trying to think of some of the tag teams that I've covered. You guys were right up there. Obviously Omen and Soldier were great, but they never had a formal run as champions. But in terms of the tag team champions that I've covered, I want to say Synergy in the UK, Reese and Rogan, Born Ready. I want to say, I don't want to say Denzian because I hate Denzian, but I mean, it's different conversation for a different time. But, I think Synergy, Reese and Rogan, Born Ready, those would be the 3 tag teams I'd put you guys up there with. I would say Maverick Matt Williams and Gung Ho Muttley, they never held the championships. The Modern Day Mafia would be a team that had a lot of success. I would put you guys in that category. The Working Class Militia, again, another team I really don't want to give much credit to on Sportswire. But I mean, the point is that, all time of all the teams I've covered, you guys are right up there in terms of some of the, the greatest teams that we've had on this platform. I know in the backyard, in the underground, maybe we don't have as many tag teams or as constant tag team championships. Ego, I would put you guys right in there. Ego would have to be in the same category. Ego did a lot of great things in DBW, EBW. So I would say, thinking about some of the teams I've covered in my career, you guys definitely deserve to be the first team officially into the Hall of Fame. And you're right up there with teams I've covered, like Synergy, like Reese and Rogan, like Born Ready. Although Born Ready is not really a natural team, but I'll go Born Ready. I would certainly put you guys up there with Ego. So those would be my 4 teams I'd probably put you guys up there with, and that's why it's a real one here on Sportswire, because I give you real talk. Even if I don't like somebody, I actually mention them. So that tells you there what I pretty much do, because I just basically...
Well, that's an honor, Tom. Let me say this real quick. It's crazy because sometimes it feels like we're just starting this thing, too, because we're doing double drop kicks. We're hitting these double super kicks, stuff that Rob Slater, I didn't even know Rob Slater could do. I had no idea. And then we get in there and we just have this new, unique magic, and we're always trying something new.
Yeah, it looks like it reminds me of Pearl Jam, even flow. There's like an even flow with you guys. I mean, it's kind of, I know you got Alice in Chains, though, quote unquote, but, it's definitely got, that even flow where, Rob brings something unique to the table, his size and his kind of agility. And then you kind of bring in kind of a mix of, some high flying, some, I would say, mix of Piper, some mix of maybe a little bit, I would say, of a Stone Cold Steve Austin early days. So you had a little bit of everything with you guys. And I think that shows why you're here. But let me get to some comments here. In fact, there's a lot of comments here. I have 40 people watching us and counting. So thank you for tuning in. Real ones here. And this guy, I know is going to be a topic, because this guy you're going to be in a ring with, apparently, because we saw it on Facebook announced. Soldier GP wants to say you're real late, by the way. He didn't put REAL, but he said REL. Is that such a thing? Can you be real late or for real?
I don't know.
Fair enough. I want to tag against Justin. Call myself and David the real ones.
Just you, not me. He doesn't want me. He wants you.
Well, no, I think who else? Who would the real ones face?
I don't know.
There's only one team for the real ones to face.
You must be slighted on that, Rob. You got to feel a little disrespect there.
I do.
Or maybe he knows that he doesn't want you because of your size and, the RKO.
He's seen you in real life now.
That's probably
maybe
true.
He thinks you're the weaker one.
Maybe he thinks I'm the weaker one.
The weaker one. Yeah, that's why I just wanted to.
Because I thought my audio was messing up there, but I guess you actually said.
Well, that's an inside joke. Let's get to the comments, because people are like, "This is already going off the rails." Hello, Rev. Justin, congrats on your beautiful daughter. Obviously, Esther Jane. What a beautiful name, Esther Jane. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better name there. And like I said, if they want to move somewhere, they would certainly fit in great in the friendly confines of my old home turf in Brooklyn. But Rob, how's the headband?
I kind of took a. You watched Hungry for Gold, right?
Yes, I did.
Fletch gave me the forearm and the turnbuckle.
Yes, I did.
He hit me so hard that my head kind of went back and right on the steel post. Yeah.
Was that for the past 20 years?
Oh, pretty much. That was his receipt.
Well, make sure you get it back. Or if so, I'll do it for you on Sportswire, because I'm sure I'll say something that'll probably be, oops, I shouldn't have said that. I'll have my Uncle Heshy moment on the air. But that's a different conversation for a different time. The Hall of Fame ain't big enough for Justin's forehead. What's with the forehead talk today? What's with the head, the forehead?
He hates my forehead. Look, it's just 4, though, so maybe even 3. So he can go screw up. That's not even like a 5 head.
By the way, is certainly trying his own stand-up comedy. That's not right. He's the forehead of the Hall of Fame. Are you the forehead of the Hall of Fame?
Neanderthalic. What? Who? Me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Soldier's playing with you. By the way, Soldier wants to say that what's not right is where his hairline stops.
Oh, that's what it is?
Dude.
I don't think it's really that
not
bad.
Shawn Michaels bad. Listen, Shawn Michaels had the worst hairline bad.
The thing about it is that, like, I've just always been so freaking pretty that people like Soldier have always tried to cut me down.
Well, you're from Mulholland Drive, remember?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Right. I mean, but I chose Mulholland Drive. I wasn't born and raised there, right? So because people like me can exist in places like Mulholland Drive, people like Soldier GP will always exist who hate on those kinds of people.
Well, listen, like I said, my buddy Mr. Calvert is from not too far from there, and I was just off the phone with somebody before we spoke a couple of hours ago, real talk, that probably has a house that looks like it could be in Mulholland Drive, but I digress because I don't dress like I'm from Mulholland Drive, even though I could probably live in the zip code, but different conversation for a different time. It is back there, laughing my ass off, and also, yes, you did beat them, yes, correct, but the last time we saw you guys in the ring, which I did mention in my speech, and it was a real one. You guys got a real victory.
When's the next time that they're in the ring?
Together as a team?
Well, the IMF show. When's the next time?
So the next show that they have, I believe, is May 11th, and that's going to be Rage in the Cage. They just had this show this past Friday, which is Rumble at the Rec. They just had that show. By the way, great show. I've heard a lot of great things. Sean Jovi, I caught his match, and he did a phenomenal job. Loves Sean Jovi, but also in a Hall of Fame. He's from the Foundation.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, you'll have to, but that's when their next show is.
Does Soulja GP have an opponent for Rage in the Cage?
You know, that's a good question. That would be something that you would have to ask Mr. GP on. And
I haven't seen anything advertised or anything like that. That's why I was kind of wondering if the commute would be worth it to finally cash in on that IMF World Championship.
Now it's funny you said that actually, because I know I want to pull something up the screen that's going to show you guys officially in the whole thing, but I actually have something else that I could pull up in the screen that might actually recognize something that I share with Mr. GP. But yes, there hasn't been anything advertised, and I don't know what that means, but I'm going to get to comments first before I come back to that. Yes, you are a father. Congratulations. And Dirty Donnie wants to call you the real bums.
I kind of like that one. Like, I kind of mark out for that one, but sort of creative.
To quote Neil Young, you can keep on rocking in the free world with that. That reminds me of the video there. I'm digging the DJ Walmart shirt, but it's Walbert. It's Walbert. It's not Walmart. It's Walbert.
What's Rob wearing? Who's Rob
supporting? He has a win over them. But
Brogan.
Interesting. What an outlier of a
partner.
What an outlier of a shirt though to wear.
I know, right? I mean, I got to support one of our partners, right?
That's it, but such an outlier.
You know? One of my old partners.
With, right? You have history with him, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely, I do. Yeah.
Well,
we go way back.
He doesn't work in the company anymore, though. At least Brogan works in the company.
Well, I march to the beat of my own drum, Tom.
That's true, too.
I have to listen to your songs.
We are the home of beating to our own drums, because Lord knows everybody else comes on here and beats their own drum, and I certainly bang my own drum, certainly to my own detriment each and every time I say something. But Fact Soldier over the win, 4 up, 4 down. Acknowledge me, LOL, saw the opportunity. Justin Parsley is magic in the ring, which is why he's a 3-time Hall of Famer. Not to beat a dead horse here, but it's like Parsley's hairline is playing hide and seek from his eyebrows. I will say this, though. Your hairline is still not as bad as Shawn Michaels from 2006 to till he cut his hair. So it can't still be as bad as that.
My hairline's not as bad as Greg the Hammer Valentine's or Tugboats, or there's a lot of hairlines that are.
Well, there's a guy named Hulk Hogan who didn't have a hairline after probably when he was out of the womb, right?
Yeah, that was rough. That had to be rough, right?
I actually went to
up until 85.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a funny real story. I actually was friends with a kid in high school that had literally, he was bald by the time we were in high school. It was like he was trying, and it was like he was combing that two little spikes on his head, and it was like, give it up, man, already. I mean, I could give you some if you want. But
I got a Rob Slater story then, because when Rob busted his head open, he sent me pictures, and he says, and the text says, I didn't know I was going bald until I took these pictures.
Well, certainly.
We're growing up, man.
Well, definitely. To quote Rush, I think I'm going bold, but certainly not here yet on Sportswire. Want to say hello to our buddy Jack Delta, of course, who's doing great things in VTW, ROEW. I believe he's a part of things there as well, amongst many other places. Hopefully, back in XCW. Good evening, gentlemen. Much love, guys. Congratulations, boys. I hope Mr. Delta one of these days will come back to the platform and join you guys because he's actually not in the Hall of Fame. He got his day. Want to say hello to somebody else that I hope next week we can get here to induct in our Hall of Fame, Mr. CJ Black, who has 2 wins over Jack Delta, by the way. 2 wins. Have a great show, everyone. Congrats, but from me, but instead of Delta. Fair enough. Appreciate that. Congrats on that feat, brother. Mr. Black, don't you have to get Reverend a new mic after the intro? I probably did not only break probably the sound barriers, I probably woke up my neighbors, which are dead people, by the way. So I wanted to put that out there. My neighbors are dead people, and my intro was so loud, I probably woke them up. So if that's such a thing. So there you have it. Like I said, working on my stand-up comedy because I am going to probably be canceled off Sportswire very soon. Rob, we haven't had much interaction, but next show, I'd love to pick your brain. Excellent. I agree with you on that. Want to say, speaking of other Hall of Famers here, also from the foundation, of course, DKWs, certainly management. I would assume this will be Mr. Darkon. Good evening, gentlemen. I want to say hello to these guys. And they were also inducted into the Hall of Fame together as well, Matthew Forsaken and Darkon. And they're the IMF Tag Team Champions, but they officially weren't in as a Hall of Fame. But so we're in our Hall of Fame, but we should probably induct them in the Hall of Fame team. But they were inducted kind of brother and brother, but that's a huge conversation. Speaking of people, it is his show after all, and he's the first 2-time Hall of Famer, and his name is Omen Black, and he called you real idiots. I mean, he really, wanted to, knife that one into you guys, real idiots. Da-dun-dun.
Yeah, he's
and
real creative.
Really big forehead there. He said really. Notice what he said the really.
That must be me again. Because I'm receding and Rob's starting in the back, and we're just going to meet in the middle.
At least you have hair, right?
So much.
At least you have hair, right? At least even if it's one strand, you got more than Omen, right?
I think so. Yeah, maybe not as like goatee, but this, yeah, for sure.
Well, if you guys saw Omen's mic on Thursday's show, the mic might be bigger than his hair on his head. If that makes you laugh, I don't know. Congrats to the real ones. Tom, you should have a Kill Tony. I told you, I've actually had people message me off the, you should go into stand-up comedy and get off Sportswire. And I say, stay tuned.
You need a roast, a Sportswire roast.
Oh, here we go. This guy.
Well, and by the way, is he EBW or XCW? I just want to know.
He's a poser. He goes where, wherever he's accepted.
Now, the term they
nowhere.
use is, are you saying, Rob Slater, the essential one? Are you giving us real talk here, basically telling us that he's going where the wind blows, but yet in this case, the wind, we don't even know where it could blow to because it doesn't seem like he has a destination.
I mean, what is he, the EBW champion, right?
Yes, correct. Yes,
what happens at Allegiance when XCW beats EBW?
The title becomes irrelevant, right? Yeah.
Irrelevant? Just like their champion, their EBW champion, he's going to be irrelevant.
Yep.
He's not got a title anymore. He cashed in on the wrong title.
Yeah.
But EBW doesn't seem to like Jackson Law either, despite being the law of the land. I mean, what do you guys think of that real quick?
I mean, it's their title, right? Take it from him. Take it from him.
This sounds easy enough. This is the guy who runs the XCW merch too, and you can tell, like, look how he spells Jesus. Like, this is ridiculous. He needs to just shut it down.
I have
in the ring, out of the ring, all of it.
I have bought something up, so I am sure that he knows my address. So I'm going to say that I am not going to comment on Mr. Law's work on the merchandise department, but I am going to say he is a champion and he's in our Hall of Fame, and I want to say hi to him, and maybe we should bring him back on one of these days. Hopefully he'd want to come back on. He is a Hall of Famer. Want to say David in the chat. Hi, David. I want to say hi, David. How are
Santiago Cruz.
Santiago.
Do you like the name? It kind of rings off the tongue, It kind of got that ringing off the tongue.
I like it.
It's got some flair to it almost. It's got some, something to it.
I mean, he was reborn, right? He was reborn.
You can be, right? He's born again.
He was definitely buried.
But he's born again.
Buried and born again.
Yeah.
Well, we all could do that. Okay, fair enough. May 11th. Thank you, Dirty. I think I said that, but to confirm, the next IMF show, just so you know, is May 11th. So that's actually coming up. That's actually right after May 4th weekend. So there you go. We're less than that'd make it less than 6 weeks.
I'll have to take a trip.
The real ones are present. Boy, wow. clever there. The real ones are present.
Oh, so he and
Copyright
Santiago
infringement,
Cruz are the real ones. Gotcha. Yeah,
Well,
we'll take that. We'll take that
that's a real-
challenge.
They're trying
that's
to
a real one.
look. They're trying to be like the best. I mean,
How does that make you guys feel? Everybody's trying to take your names now. Everybody wants to be real,
I mean, they can.
really. I mean, what's going on here?
It's cute. Like, I think it's
That's
adorable.
really not. That's really
I
not
mean,
fair.
honestly, I mean, I look at it as you know, an honor. Really, I mean, everybody wants
Flattering.
to be like this, right?
It's really flattering.
Flattering.
It's really an honor, and it's really a live one tonight. And it's really interesting that everybody's really trying to steal your names because it's really that time of day, I guess, because people really can't be creative, and I guess people really can't be original. But I'm gonna really move on to comments because
We hear that all the time though too, because we do stuff like this. But I think that's also because they want to be clicky and they're just not.
they really can't compete with the originals because there's only one really like Coca-Cola formula. There's really only one real ones that are in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. I know all of a sudden the numbers just spoke like they moved up because I kept trying to say really over and over again. So maybe that's a good thing, but I have no idea. But speaking of comments here, Justin, your hair looks great. You don't dye it purple. You dye it purple? Am I missing something?
I would never. I'm not a freaking clown. I don't know what you want from me. You're the clown,
move on
bro.
from that. Unfortunately, I do have a match. I'm defending against Prince Achia, but come so you can see what a world champion looks like. I mean, is he taking a shot at Miano Diaz? Was he taking a shot at ACT? Was he taking a shot there at Jackson Law? You know, people you guys have shared a locker room with, or Brady Branson. I mean, you know, Soldier's been somebody in the XCW locker room, and the facts are that Soldier has been really, to quote you guys, really impressive in his championship run.
I'm an IMF fan, so I could understand why he would invite me and extend this nice invitation to come as a fan. But Justin Parsley doesn't travel like that. So if you promise me a microphone, if you give me a pipe bomb, I could probably rearrange my plans and make my way out to Iowa to talk to you about a future title shot.
Now, I would like to really tell you guys that we'll probably have really all those guys in the cage on May the 9th, because we always do these shows on Thursdays now. So I'm sure that, you know, if there's a will and a way, and you guys at the very least might want to tune in to some of those things, I'm sure those guys will really have a few things to say about it. But let me move on here, because I actually still want to give you guys something. Hogan had that horseshoe hairline. He was most likely a Colts fan.
I live in the state. I don't root for the team, bro.
I don't
You're
either.
a Dolphins fan, actually.
That's a good job. Yeah.
I
like
remember
good teams.
Once upon a time you were on a podcast, not mine, but you actually said you were a Dolphins fan.
Oh yeah, you listened. I appreciate that.
I was probably one of the people that listened. But what team are you, Rob?
One.
Before I go, well,
I'm a Falcons fan.
Oh,
You know
what?
like Dirty Donnie, his little hat he wears. Yeah, a little Falcons hat. Even though he doesn't root for him.
Well, Falcons certainly made their moves in the offseason. Let's go Falcons. Michael Christian, yes, the real ones are here. Interesting, the real ones are here. And by the way, Mr. Law wants to make a very law-like comment here, a very orderly-like comment, and basically reminding you guys really that he's a champion still, unlike you guys.
Until what? May 2nd, when Allegiance happens,
Not
XCW
for
wipes the floor
long.
with EBW, and then his title becomes
Not for
irrelevant.
long, and not as long as us.
And I want to say hello to my good friend J.R. Wind, who wants me to be the new commissioner of Empire Pro Wrestling. Absolutely. Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't I endorse you? You want to be commissioner of Empire Pro Wrestling? God bless you. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, maybe the new commissioner of WC. Well, IMF's in here. You can talk to Soldier and Omen. They're here personally. As for WCE, do they still exist? I mean, I don't even know what WCE's future is, so I can't even comment on that, but I'm happy to make you commissioner of Empire Pro Wrestling. I don't know what my, role means anything in there, but I am happy that almost 100 people are watching us right now, so thank you for that.
So is Empire Pro Wrestling yours then? Is that yours?
No, that's not me. No,
Okay.
I have nothing to do with that, but I will play something on the screen in a little while that I might have something to do with, but just as irrelevant as anything Rob did in UIW. Ooh,
That's not
boy.
true. It's not true.
Yeah, why is that
Longest
true?
reigning UIW Legacy champion. Longest reigning.
With
And
100
then you-
viewers on Sportswire Radio right now.
And that really is a good legacy you've got there, Rob.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're really welcome.
And a
Been
good
here now
hairline.
14 years.
At least you have a good
14
hairline.
years.
And that's really a good point there. Being EBW is like being homeschool valedictorian. Do they still have like valedictorians in high school? For those that just got out of high school
That's
in the last
homeschool.
5 years? Oh,
Homeschool.
Homeschool valedictorian means you're the only one. Like
Oh,
Most likely,
Thank you.
yeah.
Do they even? Well, I was going to say, do they have homeschool valedictorians even? I mean, I actually had a cousin that went homeschooled, and I have to now ask him if he's alive. If my cousin's alive still, I have to go. I'll find his name and go. Hey, I was wondering, you were homeschooled, right? Any chance?
I think
you
that
were
wasn't Omen Black homeschooled, but he like got kicked out for like dating his teacher, or was that? Are those rumors?
Well, I guess maybe he watched the Van Halen "Hot for Teacher" video on loop. I don't know, but different conversation for a different time because I am certainly no Diamond David Lee Roth, but the real ones versus the real ones. Yeah, I mean, I see somebody gets it here.
Is that money?
Well, Levi McDaniel is the IMF commissioner. Correct. Get correct. And J.R. Wind, not happening. See, yeah, exactly. J.R. Wind, you're going to have to go figure out what you want in IMF. Those guys are here. Deal, boom, boom, boom. Show
Microphone.
up. I want you guys to show up.
Microphone. Okay.
I want you to show up. Okay.
All right.
I like it. Pipe bomb. The team of Forsaken Kron would love to see you May 11th, which is Matthew Forsaken and Dark Kron. They're the IMF Tag Team Champions, by the way.
I'll be there. We'll
You'll be
be
there?
there. It's up to you, man.
Titles on the line?
I don't know.
He only travels for gold. He
That's
only
right.
travels for
That's
gold,
right.
baby.
We rivals, bro. I'm a Saints fan. I just wear the Falcons because it fits the foundation color scheme. All
It
right.
has to hurt wearing that, right? How can a Saints fan? I think he's a Falcons fan. I think he doesn't want
The
to admit
Falcons
it.
fan at heart.
We need to do an intervention for Dirty Donnie, and he can just come out. He can just come out and let us know it's a safe space. Dirty Donnie, you can be a Falcons fan.
Well, at least
Sorry,
he's
bud.
really not a Jets fan. I mean, because
Well,
we're here
okay, I
in
think
New
we can all agree on that.
York. That would
I
be
hope
really.
so.
You really might need some help. You really might want to seek maybe mental health counseling if you really are a Jets fan, like those that live here in New York. But we're certainly not encouraging those things. We're going to certainly leave that at that. But Mr. Law would like to say, just as Cerebral, even in defeat, the spirit of EBW never dies.
But he's not even in EBW, so I don't understand. Like,
They won't
Law,
accept him.
Law is so confused. He's
He
like
wears their
R-Truth.
colors and everything, and they just won't accept him.
Yeah,
He's
can't
like
be
our
accepted.
truth.
He just wants to be accepted.
He's their champion. He's their champion. Does he need to be an EBW if he's the champion?
If he represents EBW, then come allegiance, they're in trouble. If that's their pillar, they're in trouble.
I gotta ask you, why
Extremely
would he-
bad wrestling.
But that's extremely a unfair take, maybe, because he's their champion now. They may, he's their champion.
How did he win that title?
He cashed.
Yeah. Post match, right?
I
Yeah.
mean,
Against
What a
Same-
fighting champion we have in Jackson
Cashed
Law.
in against this
Everyone
guy, right?
stand up for Jackson
Cashed in?
Law real quick.
He's our Hall of Famer, by the way. He's in the Hall of Fame. I cannot badmouth another Hall of Famer.
Mad respect for what he does. I mean, I've done the heel stuff. I've done the dirty stuff. I get it. Law's good at what he does, but does that mean he's a fighting champion or he's good when it comes to that?
He's been
No.
defending it so far, though. He's been winning.
Yeah,
Has
you're
he?
right.
The record books doesn't tell you, but
Who's he faced?
I don't want to disparage any competition here in XCW. We have some of the finest talent in the world in XCW. We are the gold standard of this sport, by the way. That's really true, by the way. We have really been going on for 21 years, and that would be really not a real one here to really not have some real talk like that here on Sportswire.
I would just hate to be left in limbo as the EBW champion. That's all I'm going to say. That's the last thing I will say about it.
Well, I mean, that's certainly a conversation for a different time. I want to say, Justin Parsley, idols or rivals, love you, man. Good enough. This person wants to say hello, Justin. So I want to say hello to this person. If you're here, make sure you hit the sub button for us on Sportswire Radio. Yeah, and UIW died and gets posted on someone else's channel as if that doesn't scream failure.
But he was begging me to take the footage and to put it on his channel. It wasn't like I asked for that. See, that's the thing about it. That's the thing about it, Law. I am a legend. People come to me.
Everything comes back to us, right? Everything comes back to us.
And they want me to be involved. You are trying to pick up all the scraps.
Do you know why, Law? There is no X, in the words of Fletch, there is no XCW without Justin Parsley.
That's true.
I did hear that. I did hear that.
That's a good point. And I've heard that on this platform. That was actually said on this platform. So, I mean, You know I love Law, and Law is in the Hall of Fame, and I
Oh,
cannot
absolutely.
dis-
But he needs
I
to go to bed
cannot
now.
besmirch another Hall
The
of
adults are
Famer.
talking.
And I love you, Justin, and we all love you, Justin. But certainly people have different comments. And by the way, I agree with you on the Mountain Dew choice. By the way, for you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Slater, you're welcome. By the way, that's why you're a Hall of Famer. Show up to see 2 world champions pop, and oops, he put oops. I don't know why he put oops. Okay. Hold on here 1 second. Let me get to a bunch of comments. And if I had a surprise for you guys here, would you be okay with the surprise?
Yeah. I mean,
In-
Justin's kind
it's-
of taking a break right now. He's probably getting a refill of coffee.
Oh, okay, good enough.
Oh,
I
there
had to
he
get a
is. Yeah.
cigarette.
Now,
This
Justin-
is
now, Justin-
almost too much. man.
Now, Justin, if I had a
Yes.
surprise from an XCW talent that would like to say something to you guys, would you be naturally okay with that?
XCW talent?
XCW talent that's a champion, but I can't say much more than that. I can't say what it does.
Listen, if it's Cerebral or Branson,
Not
No.
Cerebral or Branson. I promise you, it's not Cerebral. It's not Branson. It's not even
I have
Chris
some
Jones.
stuff I want to say to them.
Chris Jones is probably at a game convention right now, so it ain't Chris Jones. I
Oh.
promise you, it ain't Chris Jones. By the way, does Chris Jones, does he like live 24/7 with the cat backwards? That was a funny one. Come on.
He used to
that
live in an Iverson jersey once upon a time. You remember
I
that?
do remember that. I have seen those pictures. That's something you never were real ones. Oops. Remember,
That's a
you
victory
were
over
the
you.
only one that pinned Omen. Rob, you're just going to let Justin come get a title shot. Want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Big Tex, the big man of DBW. And I want to say hi to you. EBW stands for, well, I'm a family show. I can't necessarily say that here. You might be able to say that on some other shows, but on this show, I actually was on the phone with somebody before, and it was somebody very prominent in the Staten Island community. He goes, I've been listening to your podcast. And I go, okay, He goes, have you said any profanity? Because the other people on the show have it. I'm like, well, I can tell you I haven't. So go back in the tape. So, Michael, we love you, but I can't necessarily tell you much further on that. Cashed in on the guy that Rob is wearing. And that's what I said about competition. Failure representing failures, just like justice. Now, before I get to that guest to come on, I wanted to finally present, this here for you guys. So there you go. So I wanted to make sure before I do anything else that I have that surprise for you lined up very quickly. So give me 20 seconds for that. But guys, officially, you're in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and you got something to present it.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Be looking for that in my email.
Oh, yes, you'll both get it, as a matter of fact. You'll both
Right
get
on.
it. You'll both get it. And you guys are definitely really in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and you're about to really have a guest to come on here to say a few words really for a few minutes. So, but I'm promising you this one you're really not going to see coming, and you're really going to want to know very quickly because he's only really got a few minutes, but he really wanted to say a few things on some of the things you guys really had to say tonight because after all, almost literally 100 people are watching us right now. So apparently somebody really sees that the real ones really do draw the viewers on Sportswire Radio. So they really wanted to say a few things that come to mind. So we're really waiting for that person to log into the chat. But if you're here and you haven't, please support XCW. There's a number of different ways you can do that here on the links below. If you want to follow XCW Shelbyville, Allegiance is coming up in a few weeks. Hungry for Gold just took place. XCW Shelbyville, Facebook, Instagram. Also, XCW Shop Zone. Get your merchandise. Get your Brogan O'Shea merchandise. Get your, well, maybe that guy's merchandise. Get your Jackson Law merchandise. Get your Justin Parsley merchandise. Get your Rob Slater merchandise. Get your, if you want to, I suppose, EBW merchandise. But whatever floats your boat that's XCW related, get it. And by the way, I love when they put in the XCW shows that music can't stop, and they have that little moment there with that little music there. Whoever puts that together, by the way, is definitely really doing a great job. So this is all the ways that you can follow XCW in the links below. And again, my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, and we have inducted into our Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, really our first tag team into the Hall of Fame. And also, I really did want to show a plug here of a company that I really co-own with Omen Black and Soldier GP while we're waiting for this guest to really come on here because he's really only got a few minutes. But that is the company here, by the way. Maybe we'll see you guys one day in. It is called the Pride Wrestling Federation, and I really own a portion of it, really, with Omen Black and Soldier GP. And you could see XCW talent used to work here once upon a time, but I'll take that off the screen for now because we really have a guest that really wants to say something, and only if you guys consent, I would really like to see here. And by the way, it's been said here, Sportswire Hall of Shame. I think they're referring to you guys here, but we'll have to find out
Who
what
is
else.
that?
But, well,
Yeah.
well, we'll really find out later, but I'm really going to bring on here. See, EBW forever.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
But enough
It
of
has to
that.
be
I've got-
cerebral, right? I mean,
Forget about
that's
it. Forget about it. I've
He
got the
only knows this
EBW
through
champion here.
oh.
A round of applause. Also with our Hall of Famer. He is back. He is ready to give his lore of the land and really try to put you guys in place on some of the things that you really said about him. And of course, we are talking about our 10th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer, the legendary Jackson Law, the EBW champion. By the way, great music, by the way, out there in the background. But Mr. Laws, he's fired up. I'm going to say nothing. I'm going to let him have the floor. Floor is Mr. Laws.
You guys didn't get an intro, did you? I got an intro like that. I got my music played out. I know you guys are lame. It's okay.
Yeah,
Congratulations on being, the 37,000th thing to be inducted into the Sportswire Hall of Fame. I got inducted when it was still cool, but
Well, there'll be 37,000 more, though. Just want to let you know there'll be 37,000 more.
Yeah, but they lost its luster after number 10 winning, the last inductee of the first class. Let's not forget why and how you two are even on here, because I'm the one that made the bridge between Sportswire and XCW for you to come on here and play around at 11:30 at night on a random ass Monday.
Good point.
But it's whatever. It's whatever. Thanks for the invite, by the way, Tom. You never send me the invites anymore. It's okay. You forgot about me.
Well, that's because the owner of the company wants to tell people who can come on and who can't come on. So you are the EBW champion, and you work for the XCW guy. So maybe you could ask him on.
You're right. I am the EBW champion.
You didn't get an invite because you're irrelevant.
Champion. And you know what else I'm going to be? When Ground Zero Ruthless Intent airs, and I step into the ring with Miano Diaz, 1-on-1, not only will I be EBW champion and continue to hold a title that'll soon be irrelevant, whatever the hell you guys continue to believe, but I'm also going to take the XCW championship, and I'm going to be undisputed. Something you guys don't know anything about because you can't hold a title long enough to unify with something else. You can't even beat the Foundation. I mean, they whooped your ass from left to right. Then
but we did beat
can't beat them. We did beat them.
Didn't you lose to them in ROW? You saw them in ROW.
You lost to Brady. You lost to Brady and Cerebral. I mean, I've beaten both of them. You guys continue to just lose. And then you guys wear the shirts of failures as well. You guys wear the mark of failures. I mean, I pinned Brogan O'Shea to capture the EBW title. We're not even going to talk about me beating. We're not even going to talk about me beating the guy Justin's wearing on my debut.
Tommy beat him in his last match. That's a good point. We got to give Law credit there. That's a good point, Jackson. That's why you are the Law.
Jackson, whether you win that XCW title or not, you're already undisputed. You're undisputedly the biggest jackass on the XCW and EBW rosters.
I don't know. You're the one with the forehead the size of a donkey snout.
Hey, you beat this person and you beat that person, right?
People really don't like your forehead, Justin Parsons.
Have you stepped in the ring one-on-one?
I'm not changing it.
Either myself or.
I don't think you're able to, though.
I'll step in the ring one-on-one with either of you. And I'll walk out the exact same on top. And now I know I might have to look up to Rob a little bit since he's like 70,000 feet tall. But
a glass of water.
The last thing that was like that tall and it needed to get knocked down. Oh yeah, a plane ran into it. But we're not going to talk about that. Talk about me taking you down like the Twin Towers. Justin, you have a match coming out soon too, don't you? You versus Michael Christian. Or at least it's not. Wait, sorry, it's not a match. Let me correct myself. You're inviting him to some stupid talk show, right? What is it?
Podcast, the Circle of Jerks. Yeah.
The Circle of Jerks? Yeah, well, you're just a jerk. It doesn't matter. You have to have a circle to even get over.
There will be 3 of us, and I didn't invite you to that either.
Jackson.
That's a little.
Jackson, you got to have a circle to get over, right? How many viewers are watching us right now?
101, actually. It's 101.
How many were watching
Yeah, it
you?
came up to 101 when I came in here. Oh, law equals number.
They're all here for my forehead, which still isn't as big as Jackson Law as a human being. So that's a plus.
I don't know. I could put my gut on your forehead and we could find out which one's bigger. I'm pretty sure it would look like a chicken fritter on a serving platter.
We'll do it next show. We'll see. How about that, buddy?
Me and you one-on-one next show. I'm cool with that.
I would love to see that.
Next show.
We don't even need cameras, Jackson.
Here
Maybe
you go,
XCW
Jackson.
Vortex. Maybe XCW Vortex.
We've got a couple of them ahead before Allegiance, by the way. Got a couple of them.
Vortex exists. But how are you guys going to go on and buy merch from the merch store and not buy merch of the Law of the Land? The most legendary man to grace the screen, the Law of the Land, the Man in Black, whatever gimmick you know me as. I mean, heaven knows I've had a billion gimmicks and I still have never painted my face like some other idiot on the screen.
I'm the idiot. Me. Who's the goose fellas? Me. We've been waiting this whole time for you to say something
Exactly.
worthwhile.
Well, we learned that you didn't like you painting your face.
It's a Justin Parsons and Summer Mania cosplay. The hair's a little bit there, but
Go figure. You're the one holding that. Do you role play as me whenever you go out and try to meet women? I hope.
The only time I would ever role play as you is when I'm sad and depressed and I'm trying to look at a joke in the mirror to make myself feel better.
So is that like a daily thing, or?
No, that's what I had to do after I took the DNA test to find out if the new one was mine or not.
Well, I'm going to say no comment on that. Certainly, that's Mr. Law is entitled to that. I'm going to say nothing on that.
I don't know if he's entitled to talk about my daughter that way.
That's true too.
We'll
but
see. We'll see soon.
Hey, Jackson, you can talk all you want to, but here's the thing. When you talk about my partner here, you're not only talking about him, talking about me too.
Ooh.
You can talk all you want, but you got eyes in the back of your head.
Partner, God, just get a room already. You sound like you're married to the son of a bitch.
Hey.
This is why you cannot achieve.
You guys do that in Indiana?
Jackson. You don't have any friends. People don't want to be around you. You're an intolerable son of a bitch. Do you understand that?
I don't have friends.
You're a snitch. First of all, you call yourself a cop. You're just a dirty snitch. No one wants to hang out with that. And then I don't want to speak.
Well, I can't let you disparage him too much. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's number 10 in the Hall of Fame.
I may not have friends, but I definitely have family. And well, when family gets,
and he's number 10 in my Hall of Fame. He's number 10 in the Hall of Fame.
And
he's number 10.
Family connection would definitely destroy the real ones in a tag team match.
That's
he wants to call on his family to help him destroy the real ones in a tag team match. That would be cute.
That's really some real talk there.
That's real. It's a real challenge.
Especially when there's nothing about you that could top Milo Malice or Jackson Law.
I got 7
Milo Malice is
Rob
very
Slater
impressive, by the way.
top both of you. You guys could one of you can ride the other one on your shoulders. I don't give a crap.
Hey, Jackson, you can keep talking all you want, buddy, but sooner or later, when you least expect it.
Shut up, Rob. Let Justin carry the promos.
All right.
That's some real talk.
You just gonna listen to me and actually shut up? Thank God.
Well, there is a couple of comments that people wanted to say. So in the meantime, I'm going to say, rumor has it Jackson got hit with a pumpkin so hard as a rookie by Brady Branson that he decided to incorporate that into his gear by turning it orange. They used Justin's head as reference for mile markers on maps. Bring back the mutton chops, Jackson. Jackson as good as Roscoe from Dukes of Hazzard. Omen Black says it's Melissa McCarthy. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. I'm going to step in and say that's not fair.
I know Melissa McCarthy is a beautiful woman.
Damn,
That's bullshit.
That's no.
You
He's number
shouldn't
10 in
do
my
that,
Hall of Fame.
homie.
I am not going to allow people to disparage Jackson Law. He was the EBW champion, by the way, and he is certainly doing a great job.
I still am.
I said you are the EBW champion. You are the EBW champion. You defeated Brogan O'Shea, and Patrick O'Reilly has not a chance, or anybody else does, to take this title away from this man. He might even have more gold. And this person loves your head, so that they love your head, Justin.
Well,
And I actually want to ask, Mr. Law, I would like to see you back on Sportswire. Can we bring you back on Sportswire, Mr. Law? Can we bring you back? I guess we'll have to find out, maybe.
Do you have to get permission?
It apparently seems like the way sometimes in XCW.
he's
that
here
way.
now.
Okay, well then we'll certainly forget about that. But you want to say anything else, Mr. Law? That's true. I mean, but he was here first in general. If it wasn't for Mr. Law, we wouldn't be talking XCW. So to be fair, Mr. Law could get the floor, and I know you have to go, certainly do what you do is, be in the law of the land, but is there anything else you'd like to share before you go out and continue to do your role as law of the land?
Yeah, make sure you all check out XCW Allegiance when it premieres. Coming soon, XCW Ground Zero Ruthless Intent. Since nobody else ever gets on here and actually promotes the show, they just talk about themselves all the time.
That's not true.
Is that like Tommy Madden, or is that somebody else we're referring to that's no longer in the company? Is that what I hear?
I don't talk about Tommy anymore. I got in trouble.
I know that. Well, I mean, but we brought him on, and that's.
I mean, people run their mouth and don't like it when I run it back. So. Yes.
Well, that's kind of what Sportswire is. That's kind of what we've been told.
Kind of good at running my mouth.
You are very good at that. Very good at that.
That's the one thing I got.
You got the EBW championship. Not so fast. You got that EBW championship.
You right. I am the EBW champion, the only champion on the screen right now.
That's another good point there. Can't argue that.
I'll drink to that.
Well, wait, you'll drink to not having the championship?
To Jackson being the only one on the screen right now.
Let's see if his reign is as historic as our reign was.
You know what? That's
you guys lost to the company that I held the championship for.
That's what? That's
We may have.
It's already forgettable, Rob.
And to answer your question, I don't have to be ECW to be the elite of the elite. I don't have to be XCW to be more explosive than anybody else on the roster. I'm Jackson Law. I'm the law of the land. Every company is under my jurisdiction.
Hey, what's it like living in La La Land?
I don't know. You've got your head so far in the clouds that I'm surprised you could pull it out of Justin's ass long enough to get on screen.
If you're the elite of the elite, why doesn't EBW have you on their team come Allegiance? Why don't they have their world champion representing them?
They don't. Let's be real. Let's look at the caliber of
you
on Team EBW versus Team XCW. You guys don't even know who your last person is.
It's XCW's short-handed right now. We don't know who the fifth person is. EBW could be.
Let's be real here. At least EBW has their ducks in a row. Before you want to talk shit, at least maybe line up somebody to be in that spot.
You see, Jackson?
And,
you don't know who the last person is, Jackson.
You have to have the cheap advantage of having the mystery partner. We understand you can't do it fairly, so you got to have the mystery guy. I get it. I'm no.
I think he wants us to ask him, and I don't want to, Rob.
What do we call it? What do you call it, Justin? Being a little.
We had people lining to join our team.
You do?
We chose the best of them. And you'll see come Allegiance, who are fifth members.
I can't wait for Allegiance, by the way. You can go to watch XCW on all platforms, especially YouTube, XC Wrestling One. You can also check them out, XC All Access, XCW All Access on YouTube, XCW Shelbyville, XCW_Shelbyville on Instagram, XCW Wrestling One on Twitter and Facebook, XCW Shelbyville. Also, merchandise, go to the XCW website. So you can certainly say that. And a lot of people seem to want to say a couple of things here. First of all, I love the real ones, by the way.
He loves anything that shows him attention. I don't want to hear it.
Fair enough. Let's
be real though. I've got more important things to do than be here at 11:51 screwing with you all. I just figured I'd pop on and do the promotional bit that you guys seem to be lacking.
So, when's Allegiance then, real quick?
So
Allegiance.
well, excuse me. I hear my music playing. I think that means it's time,
buddy.
to go.
Yeah, allegiance. Promote allegiance.
Well, we'll see you. We'll see you soon. We're out of time at Jackson Law.
It's been a blast. I promise you that
I got May 2nd. Is
I
that
can't
right?
promise I'll
I had the
enjoy
same
it.
thing on my calendar, by the way. Yeah.
Toodles.
I see you later. That was Jackson Law, of course, the EBW World Champion, who certainly really wanted to really pop in. And I really have a lot of comments here because I have 125 people watching. So let me get to some more comments here. I have here Candy Crush is here. Hey,
Hey.
all of my favorite people all in one live. Was that included Law or was that not included Law?
No.
That comment came through right after he left.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Cruz versus Parsley. I guess stay tuned. Also want to say here, Candy Crush is here in this. Okay, good enough. Jackson, you look like the law of the McDonald's plan. You know, that's not, I have to say, not fair, number one. I actually, where I lived, my McDonald's is literally a McDonald's playground right across the street. So I have to say no comment on that because I actually, by my McDonald's, they actually have a McDonald's.
Is that right next to the cemetery then? It goes cemetery, then McDonald's play place?
Close. It's close. But, you know, hey, you
I'm
figure.
not moving to anywhere near Brooklyn or
Staten Island. Well, this is Staten Island, but the point is that the funny joke would be is, you know, if you're going to have McDonald's, you're on a heart attack. You're in and your heart attack place, your final resting stop could be the cemetery.
Okay.
Or you could hear my long intros, and then either way, it'll make you croak. But you know, not every company Law. Certainly, Soja heard that because Mr. Law obviously had some time in the IMF. There you go, and she wants to say hi. Jackson, have you enjoyed the gifts? They are the true goats. Thank you, Christopher. You can't say the best of them and have Broken O'Shea in the lineup. That was a good one. That rhyme though, Broken O'Shea. I mean, that's an outlier of a comment tonight, huh? Rob wants to say something. You want to say something?
I have no idea.
Well,
he's reading my mind or something.
He knows you better than you know you.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't even know if Rob knows him, period. So.
Well, you know, as we've got a little more time with you guys, obviously, I know you've got to go back to, you know, diaper duty, I'm sure, and you've obviously got to worry about, you know, figuring out the RKO. But
well, Amanda's still at the hospital with Esther. They're both doing well. I do want to tell you that. And then I got the other two. I got the other two at home tonight because we go back to school tomorrow. Today for the eclipse, but yeah.
Oh, you guys went off for the eclipse. Wow, I wish every day I had off for the eclipse. But different conversation. But I think tonight was the eclipse on Sportswire because we had a return of Law and we pretty much had everybody comment but the kitchen sink. But, you know, he did make a good point, Mr. Law, in that we've got this big match coming up at Allegiance, the main event. You spoke up, Justin. You said, you know, 5 of our best against 5 of EBW's best, but we don't know who's going to be on your side. And, you know, you guys are aligned with the Outliers. And, you know, Fletch said a couple things on Rundown. You guys have all had some interesting history there together. I mean, can you guys coexist to kind of have this common goal of maybe eliminating EBW and take away from what you guys are both fighting for right now is to reclaim your tag team championships?
I mean, you saw at Hungry for Gold, right? The Outliers versus the real ones. Winner got a future tag team title shot, right?
Yep.
That match didn't end how we wanted it to. EBW didn't just attack them. They didn't just attack us. They attacked all of us. We're going to put our differences aside to handle EBW. Can Fletch trust us? That's something Fletch has got to decide.
He talked down, by the way. He was obviously, you know, on the air, and, you know, there's history. I mean, you guys shook hands, which was good. I think we were all happy to see the mutual respect, but you know, you guys both have goals. I mean, what this new, you know, maybe the question really is, what is even of this new allegiance between Fletch and Brogan O'Shea? They've had a lot of history themselves, and, you know, they have, I guess, common goals for now, but can those guys coexist? You guys have had a long friendship for 20 years, so we know at the end of the day, you guys are there together, but I would even say, can Fletch and Brogan O'Shea coexist?
I think that'll be the biggest issue.
That's the real question, yeah. Can they trust each other? I mean, we know we can trust each other. Yes, we've had our ups, we've had our downs, but we've been there through it all.
And I think we even know that we can trust them. I mean, I know I've worked with Brogan, so I know Brogan and I have this mutual common respect for each other and just this understanding. But Fletch as well. I mean, Fletch has invited us back to XCW. We're here working in his company. So I think that we've made it clear where we stand and how we can trust them. And I think that they just Fletch needs to let us guard down a little bit and just let us in.
And this fifth person we expect is obviously going to be groundbreaking. It's going to be, it's going to change the face of things because you guys obviously aren't going to tell us. And I would even say don't tell us anything now. But
Of course, yeah.
And we're going to obviously watch the show here on the XCW YouTube page. So speaking of promotion, I know Law was doing the promotion. We've got the promotion here on Sportswire, by the way. We've actually got it here, right there. And I see we have a question mark of somebody on the screen here. I don't know if this is, if I'm supposed to bring this person up, but there's a question mark of somebody that's actually here live. I don't know if I'm bringing this person up on the screen or not, but do you know of this at all? There's a question mark, literally. The person's name is a question mark.
Oh, I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Do I bring the person on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess then you're going to get it because you got this question mark right here now. There's actually a question mark, literally.
Different corner of Jackson Law's house.
That's not Jackson Law. It's a question mark.
Okay.
Well, hello, question mark.
No entrance theme. What is this?
Doesn't need one. It's a question mark. It's a question mark.
There's a real one. At least one.
Well,
Okay. Kind of weird, but okay.
that was really interesting.
That's probably cerebral. Probably cerebral, trying to mess with us again.
Oh, so I see what this was. So this was mind games for you guys. This is
I suppose. I mean, EBW, they don't know who our fifth member is. We don't know who their five
But
is.
EBW has really gotten the upper hand on XCW of late. You can't blame EBW for what they would try to do here on the screen. Or, we've got Law's role coming in here, and we don't really know where he stands, and that's kind of how Law likes it most. But I mean, I suppose at the end of the day, can't blame EBW.
I mean, they can, reach
And
into
you guys
their
rattled in the
tricks.
picture from Omen Black, and that's stealing the tricks from Omen Black and Soldier GP because they have interfered when you guys have been here in the past, and they've resorted to the same tactics. I mean, so at the end of the day, EBW is just doing what's already been done, and they see what worked, and maybe that's why we saw that there.
Yeah, I mean, if that's EBW, typical EBW, right? They copy. They stay in the past, right? They take from the past. They can't move to the future. They can't evolve. They can't think of their own. They got to pull a move from everybody
But
else.
they have your tag belts. Miano has the world championship.
For now.
For now?
And that tag match that we were in was more of a handicap match anyway. I mean,
That was more of like that was like a gang
Chris Jones
warfare.
was involved twice.
It was gang warfare. It was almost like it was like Gangs of New York almost. It was reminding me of Gangs of New York. But I do want to point out from where my skull is EBW. EBW. I always feel like EBW. Is it? Do we say it EBW? It says EBW, and then we have XCW. LOL there from the Candy Crush. We hope the Candy Crush is doing well. Obviously, we love having the Candy Crush and everybody here, including EBW. EBW. Might have to also point out that Chris Jones is in the Hall of Fame and he's the EBW leader. So, that's just what I would like to say. But now we have XCW copycats and we have here more XCW. So now I'm trying to figure out, we're in a contest between XCW and EBW. EBW.
It'll be at Allegiance. May 2nd, Tom. Well, I don't know. That's Jackson's Law. Or Jackson's Law.
I think we promoted it on the screen because, ta-da, who had to share the screen? Who had all the fancy XCW links? It's yours truly. EBW is taking from the past, ironic coming from you two dinosaurs.
What dinosaur has the biggest forehead? Because that's what kind I am. I know you're a brontosaurus because you can you pull shit down from trees for me all the time.
I'm trying to think. What was the episode?
My cat's stuck.
What was the episode of the Flintstones where Fred was trying to get that really big Tyrannosaurus, right, with a big meal, and he couldn't fit it on the car, if I recall correctly.
Tiny arms to be a T-Rex, though. I don't know.
Well,
maybe that'll be the next thing.
Speaking of people I like to say already, of course, the Nemesis James Taylor, who's got some new profile pictures, and of course, he is the host of the Nemesis Sessions, and hopefully he could maybe bring on the real ones one of these days, but I hope he's doing well. We had him on yesterday talking about WrestleMania Night 2, and Mr. Law would like to say, the hell was that thing?
Talking about I don't know.
The question mark. Yeah, the question mark. Question mark. That was interesting. I've had a couple of those moments on the air. Is the aliens invading us? Do you guys believe in aliens?
No.
I call them demons, but like whatever. Yeah. Something from outside this world, sure.
I mean,
Aliens. I don't know. I want to believe. To quote David Duchovny.
Well, I mean, there was an episode I've been quoting a lot lately where Sammy Hagar, the ex-singer of Van Halen, said he believed in aliens on the Howard Stern show once upon a time. But not about that. These mofos out here talking about... I don't know. I mean, I guess I kind of say I'm open to it. I think you never know what's out there. I mean, after all, I live near a cemetery, right? So, I mean, I have to be, of all people, probably the most open to aliens because, again, my neighbors are dead people. So at the end of the day, I mean, I can't be one to talk, right? These mofos here are out talking about Dragon Tales and Ish, that mystery partner. I believe in NVN. Interesting. I dance with demons, my demons. Oh, okay. That's interesting, right?
To each their own, man.
Okay. Somebody here wanted to hit me up on Twitch, which has nothing to do with this show. I don't know what it's about. I heard some smack being talked about the elitist of the elite. I think we're talking about the man, by the way, that won the most awards at Viewers' Choice this past year. He was the XCW champion last year, and he's got your championships. Yep.
Take nothing away from Brady. You know what he's accomplished. It's up there, bar none. All the respect to an extent to Brady, but he needs to worry about his champion, his heavyweight champion, right? His EBW champion that's representing EBW, the elite of the elites.
They don't seem to want to claim him either, though. It seems like they don't want to claim him either.
Nobody does. He's like that foster child that's just looking for his home. He just wants his home.
He was kind of once upon a time the Miz of the WWE locker room, basically, is what you're telling me.
Sooner or later, Jackson Law will be on the outs.
Well, I hope it doesn't go that far. I wouldn't
Well,
want
it's not going to, but
okay, good, because he's in my Hall of Fame. But they were smack talking me. So, am I trying to tie two and two together? That they were
happening. Is Brady trying to get? I mean, is Jackson trying to get Brady?
Let me parcel this out here. It seemed to me that Mr. Law is the EBW champion, right? He's the EBW champion. You guys tonight have said a number of things about EBW, but maybe Mr. Law, in his role as the law of the land, was notifying in his authoritarian role. Because remember, after all, he is the authorities. He was letting those in EBW know that you guys were saying things about them, which has brought out maybe the likes of Mr. Branson, maybe even the likes of Mr. Cerebral to come out tonight and maybe say a number of things about you guys. Is that a fair statement that maybe to kind of maybe connect the dots more or less?
Jackson Law might have snitched on I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think
that's why they have him. Is that why they have him to do their snooping and their stitching?
Well, that's how it works a lot in gang warfare. That's how it kind of works. You certainly let somebody else know, and if you've both got the same common enemy, which is you guys, they're going to do what it takes to kind of eliminate you guys because maybe they see you guys as the weakest links, not so much Brogan and Fletch, because Brogan and Fletch have had varying degrees of success against them at times. Maybe that's what their thinking is tonight.
Well, if you're someone weak and vulnerable like Jackson Law, I think he can be manipulated. I think that goes back to him not having any friends or not having any allies. So he's going to take whatever will come along and give him a little bit of attention. So, of course, if these guys are saying, hey, yeah, we'll let you in. Hey, we're good. You're EB-dub. EB-dub sucks. then maybe that's Jackson Law. That's Jackson Law's motivation.
No, don't tell me on the air, but I would love to know from a birdie who actually says the words EBW in that music. But let's go there. But EBW champion equals the elite of the elite. And by the way, Mr.
Brady was the elitist.
I think Mr. Branson, I don't know if he's saying about that about Mr. Law or about you guys. That's a good question there. I don't know.
Well, mad respect, for Brady and Brady's career because I know Brady.
Oh, yeah, great career. Brady's absolutely.
I never watched wrestling, and he just gets it. Like you can see it in the ring, on the mic, everywhere. Brady gets it. So
he's disrespect to him. Listen.
But it did take a rotating door of allies and friends to try to take the tag titles off of us until something finally stuck,
Gang warfare. That's what stuck. Gang warfare.
Yeah.
Gang warfare. When the numbers are too strong, really, real.
If it's an even match, 2-on-2, no interference, no outside interference from anybody, Brady already knows what'll happen. Look what happened with him and Tommy. Brady already knows.
What happens to What happens
Good.
when a cop gets involved in gang warfare, though? What would happen if a police officer were to get involved in gang
Well,
warfare?
from what I remember in law class, because I actually, as somebody that took law, somebody who took criminal justice, and somebody that actually, was adversed a little bit in that land, and actually as somebody who once upon a time took the test to be a New York City police officer, but
The
obviously I
real
am not a New York City
law
police
of
officer,
the
yes.
land.
And as somebody that actually has a certification that actually deems me as some law of the land, from what I recall correctly, when cops do get involved in this stuff, usually what happens is something bad happens to the cop, and the cop gets basically found, probably across the street from me in the cemetery with a bullet in their head, if you're asking me
Or
for
not
real.
found at all.
If they,
Yeah, Jimmy Hoffa, yeah, pretty much. But he was a
Exactly.
union leader, but close enough. Yeah, I mean, or like in Goodfellas, where the guys were found in the, in the dump. But that's
I think we
pretty
saw
much.
that out pretty quick, didn't we? Yeah.
Well, I mean, Mr. Law would like to address that. If you ask a local indie town around here, the police department is the biggest gang in the world.
So you know this, Tom. You've taken
Yes.
the classes. You got the certificate, all that, right?
Yes.
What happens when somebody pretends to be a cop?
Oh, they go to jail and they get arrested for
Oh,
obviously false
right.
impersonation. Yes.
So
False
where
impersonation.
is the law of the land's documentation?
That's a good question because I mean I could give you mine on air for my certificate, but
One quick phone call and there's no more law of the land or elite of the elites.
well, I mean, I'm going to certainly not overstep any boundaries because I, after all, don't want to see Mr. Law in prison because he's number 10 in my Hall of Fame. I'm going to say, guys, we'll certainly, hopefully you work it out in the ring and, who may the best person win. But, okay, well, I guess that's certainly a conversation I'm sure we'll see on XCW TV, which, again, you can follow on all platforms here. And, of course, the real ones, our first tag team inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I want to address one thing, though, that Mr. Law has said that, yeah, there's 37,000 people in there, and there'll be 37,000 more people in there. Just like I told Fletch the same thing, that it's my Hall of Fame, and I will induct 370,000 people, as a matter of fact. Because after all, a Hall of Fame is a Hall of Fame, and I will say, since this is real talk, this is kind of like the real chatter. The WWE has how many people in their Hall of Fame? More than the Sportswire Hall of Fame, right? The International Wrestling Hall of Fame has more people in that than the Sportswire Hall of Fame, and we just had on Rad Dad Radley Belmont. Oh, only the GTS US and IC champion, and he wrestled the Rock and Roll Express in the International Rock and Roll Wrestling Hall of Fame. But I digress. We love XCW, and we love everybody in the Hall of Fame. I've never won
Hall of Fame, Tom.
And I appreciate that. And we love all the XCW talent in the Hall of Fame, but we really like to give the real talk about the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. I've never once called myself the police. It's called loopholes, pal. Mr. Lawyer Man should be able to explain. Well, I'm technically not a lawyer, but what I will technically tell you is that that's something that you're going to have to obviously decide with your law. But I'm going to certainly say, hopefully here, you don't get in any trouble with the law because A, I want to see you in the ring on Allegiance. I want to see you in the ring on more Vortex episodes. And you're in my Sportswire Hall of Fame. So that would kind of be bad publicity if Mr. Law gets in any trouble. So let's certainly say,
He plays mind games. I play mind games.
And we love that, by the way. We love the EBW, XCW back and forth, but you guys are the ones, real talk, that are shorthanded. So you're the guys still right now that EBW's got the upper hand over because EBW's looked great the last couple of weeks, and they've taken almost all the belts, and they've got the momentum, and we'll have to see. But let me ask you guys, first of all, what would be your final thoughts for Team EBW, first of all, for both of you guys? What do you want to say to them?
Bring your best. That's what I want to say. There's a lot of options, and a lot of people think they are the best, but I think that team should really sit down, get together, and think about who they want to put on their front lines to die at the hands of XCW and bring the best.
I mean, is it them deciding, or is it Chris essentially deciding the five? Like, is he going to pick his best five? The five that he wouldn't mind losing? Who's going to be the one to disappoint Chris? If they choose and disappoint Chris, what's in store for them? Just don't underestimate us.
But I would say one point, as I unfortunately clicked the wrong button, I would say, and I caught the last part of that, though, if you guys, though, get disappointed, it could be worse for you guys because you are the guys right now that are fighting for the XCW name.
But we know what what they have to offer. We know who's on the table. We know we can sit there and calculate and analyze every single person that could be against us in that ring. They do not have that same sort of advantage. Well, they know four of them and they can study.
We know how EBW operates, right? Week in and week out, it's the same thing, right? Well, maybe we have a trick up our sleeve.
Well, we're going to find out, but before I get to a couple of other things here, we love XCW. It's the kind of thing you say if you want a personal visit from EBW Breast. Well, I would add that EBW is always welcome on Sportswire, because what you should also remember to mention, Mr. Branson, is we have the term All Wrestling Matters. So anybody from anywhere could come on to Sportswire Radio, because that's some real talk, because really, if you're in EBW, like Mr. Branson or Mr. Cerebral, and you really want to come on to Sportswire Radio, and get this, since you guys work for EBW and you really don't have to ask permission from the XCW guy to come on Sportswire Radio, you really could come on anytime you want, because, that's kind of the thing, right? You really have to ask permission in order to come on to represent XCW on Sportswire. But if you really represent EBW, you really could come on Sportswire and really talk about what you would like to say. So maybe real talk, if you really want to come on and talk about EBW, since again, like I said, you really don't work for XCW, we can really bring you on. So how does that sound? You can say nothing on that, by the way, because you guys are XCW employees. So, you can really, for real talk there, let those guys see if they want to come on to Sportswire and really talk about the EBW side of things, So,
That's real nice of you. That's real nice of you.
Well, we really, yes, because really on Sportswire, we really try to let everybody speak on the floor. It doesn't matter where they work for, whether they were excommunicated from XCW, like some that recently came onto Sportswire, or others that held a belt in XCW and now work in VTW, but we really allow everybody in Sportswire the floor, because after all, we're the term All Wrestling Matters, and we really don't work for any wrestling promotions, even though I really actually own and co-own the Pride Wrestling Federation, which actually really had Jack Delta in there, who was really the XCW New Age champion.
Where's that ran out of then? Where do you guys promote out of, or where do you book?
So so just real quick on that. That company was originally run by Atomic Titan, who was the TBW part of TBW, and that was basically a developmental company, which was then bought from an interesting guy who Jackson Law is going to know, Xavier Thorne and Dalton Skull, who Mr. Law definitely knows. And Dalton Skull owns the other portion of it. And I, along with Omen Black and Soldier GP, own the YouTube channel, the Instagram page. So we own a portion of that. So that's kind of remains to be seen. Stay tuned on more of PWF, but
for sure.
We'll certainly stay tuned for that. But before I get to closing thoughts here, we certainly run the gauntlet. We've obviously inducted you guys as our first tag team. Yes, really in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Yes, there'll really be like 37,000 more people here in the Hall of Fame. And Mr. Law would like to say that, yes, you would be owed a championship match, and you really could ask, I could maybe give that to you, but you also might really want to ask Omen Black and Soldier GP about that, because they really are also the other owners of the company. So you're welcome to message them and let them know that. But I would love to give you the match, but I only own a portion of it. So that's some real talk there. But we can talk about that when you'd like to come on before May 2nd, because some real talk there. We'd really like to have you on, because again, you're the EBW champion, so that wouldn't mean you'd need permission, right, from XCW. But I digress. We're certainly going to move on here. But anything else? Yeah, just some real talk there. We like to be real here on Sportswire. But I can see we're actually having our own pipe bombs on Sportswire. Right? We're really going there.
See, it's fun, isn't it? Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. Well, people like the pipe bombs on Sportswire. They don't want to see the lovey-dovey. They don't want to see us. How's the baby? They want to see it, but we do it more in a more mature way tonight. But the facts is whether Mr. Law said it's 11:51 randomly, and he had other things to do, but 135 other people seem like that they actually wanted to be here watching. So, I guess they wanted to be on Sportswire too. But is there anything else you guys would like to say before closing thoughts?
Just tune into Allegiance 5-on-5. It's not just about XCW versus EBW. Yeah, it's the whole, big thing. But there's actually other stars on this roster that are competing in matches that, have the potential in the future to make a name for themselves. They're bringing back the King of the Mountain.
Yes.
They're bringing that back after 2 years, 3 years, something like that. That's another big match on the card. It's not about XCW versus EBW. It's about others on the card as well.
Oh, it's a fantastic card.
In XCW.
Absolutely. No, real talk.
Tune in for them also.
Real talk is XCW is the gold standard of this sport. So real talk, XCW has continued to set the brand standard there for any company out there. So thank you for saying that. Anything else you want to say, Justin, before we get to closing thoughts?
Yeah, it's been a real honor. We really appreciate you having us on, and there's really not a better person that I could have went into the Hall of Fame with than this guy. I think I can get it right. This guy. Stupid mirror game. Yeah, I think they do the 4 up and then.
It's they go like this. Yeah. And still have foundation members.
But
apparently,
they can do this too. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, but everybody does this now. Yeah, but everybody does the click sign. That's so. Listen. The foundation's in the Hall of Fame too.
Everybody. Yeah, no, for sure. No, I love it, dude. I love the originality of it and everything. Because you think it's going to be 4 horsemen, and I mean, I think it's dope. I love the.
I mean, you guys do the 2 sweet. I get it. I know you guys do it, but they did something original. I give them that. You got to. Listen, we want to see everybody do well. I want to see them all do well. Yep. And he said the real ones are poopy.
Yeah.
See you guys May 11th. Well, I mean, I guess
I'll can be mature about it at least. That's cool.
That's cool. And we, by the way, want to thank Mr. Law for coming on, and also the question mark person. So, closing thoughts. Anything else you guys want to plug? I'm going to actually pull up you guys' social medias in a second, and I obviously want to congratulate you guys. Also, Justin, real talk here. Congratulations on Esther Jean. God bless you and Amanda. We certainly want to, keep you guys in our thoughts and prayers and everything else in between. And anything else you guys like to share for some closing thoughts?
I mean, it's an honor to be going in the Sportswire Hall of Fame. My first time, Justin's second time.
We're gonna bet you on a second time, I promise you. That'll be I added to the 37.
To be the first tag team, that's an honor. Even if it's not an individual, hey, the first tag team out of all the people in the Hall of Fame, it's an honor. And to be inducted with this guy,
couldn't agree more.
No words.
And for you, Justin, you want to put some closing thoughts out there?
Just thank you for giving us another platform to do this on, and thank you, Rob, for coming back. I hope this feels like it was worth it, because I told you we could do something big. I felt that in my gut, and I didn't know it was going to turn into tag gold and everything that came with it. But go figure, right? I mean, that chemistry, man. We've just mastered it. It's always been there. It's instinctively. So it's been really cool, and I appreciate you coming back and taking a chance on doing it.
I will say this before it's said and done, before my time comes, before that time catches up with me, at some point down the line, there will be Rob Slater and Justin Parsley to see who's the best. At some point, we gotta settle it.
I would know every
point. We gotta settle it.
You know what? Everybody was talking about Uso versus Uso. Was that good? But Parsley versus Slater? Oh, baby. Listen, that would be one for the ages. I'll tell you what.
I guys aren't ready for that. You guys aren't ready for that.
I hear from a birdie that we're going to be watching live down the road. Justin Parsley and Michael Christian with yours all truly on the play-by-play, but you and Rob Slater, oh my God, OMG, GTFO. Forget about all of everything else. That's going to be one for the age. Maybe that'll decide who's the greatest Sportswire Hall of Famer. Oh, I don't know. Boy, that's going to really now they're going to say an XCW. Now they're going to say, now he's talking about who's the greatest Hall of Famer. Boy, that's really devaluing the Sportswire Hall of Fame. Real talk, right?
When the time presents itself. When the time presents itself.
Yep.
We got a while for that.
Well, we got a long while for that, and I'm sure real talk, we'll probably have, like I said, 37,000 more Hall of Famers, and I'm sure, Fletch, you can still have your opinion on it, and I'm still going to induct 37,000 more people. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to induct like 370,000 more people in the Hall of Fame. Maybe I got to think about, because somebody actually told me the other day, Tom, you've probably interviewed like more people in like podcast history. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should go out and reach out to all the people I've interviewed, right? They're all back, because we have a soccer coach getting inducted later this week. Maybe we'll have Jake Matthews getting inducted this week. Maybe I'll reach out to every person. Maybe I'll find the phone book and induct him in the Hall of Fame, right? So we'll have to see. Well, it can't be a him, right? Because the phone book's a phone book. But obviously, we're just having having fun. But thank you, everybody here, for tuning in on Sportswire. I want to congratulate the real ones here. Rob Slater, the essential one, and Justin Parsley, the first real wrestler. And he is our second two-time Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And these guys are our first tag team into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, as you can see. And want to give a big shout out to Mr. Law, came on the show. Parsley, an original. He had a backyard NWO. And
that was Fletcher's idea. Oh my gosh! All right, we're not going to go. That's a different.
We're not going to go there. And there'll be plenty of those, I'm sure. Congratulations, Justin Forrester. But he'll accept it. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'll be back here tomorrow or today now, New York time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, with the Bitcoin billionaire Chase Wakefield, who apparently has a major announcement that he's going to share live on the air. Plus, since I didn't get a chance to open it here live, I am actually going to open this package. So you're going to actually get a chance to see. Here we go. I'm going to open this package on the air, and you're going to see what it is. And I have no idea what it is. The only hint I might say is I'm going to be pulling up or shutting up, apparently, because what's in that bag might have something to do with the term pull up or shut up. So you're going to want to stay tuned for me to open that. But again, it'll be 9:30 p.m. with the Bitcoin billionaire Chase Wakefield. By the way, speaking of XCW, is about to wrestle in VTW Jack Delta. Oh, Jack Delta, XCW employee, quote unquote, maybe. So there's your XCW reference there. So stay tuned for all of that. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of World Wrestling, where all wrestling matters. And congratulations to these guys here. Couldn't think of a better tag team to be in our first team to be inducted into our Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. But good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one, collaboration that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. And please support XCW in the links below. And if you're on YouTube, hit that sub button for us at Sportswire Radio 6579, because all wrestling matters. So thank you, everybody. Good night.